The teen scene of New York City is something to behold, particularly among the uber wealthy. Lustful step siblings Sebastian and Catherine make sick, twisted games out of people's lives, seducing virgins, spreading rumors, and all sorts of perversions. When the virginal daughter of the school's new headmaster publishes a manifesto about how awesome it is to stay pure until marriage, a wager emerges. Sebastian bets Catherine he can bed her before school starts. If he loses, she gets his car. If he wins, he gets Catherine. But things don't always work out the way you expect, and the heart wants what the heart wants in the sexy 1999 thriller Cruel Intentions. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Caleb J.
And this is Filmgazm. Welcome to the Filmgazm podcast. Today's episode is very special. It was on a list of suggestions emailed to us months ago by a fan who requested one of them as a birthday episode. And her birthday is actually tomorrow, May 18th, but we're pretty damn close. So happy birthday, Nicole. Here's Cruel Intentions, a film that was way better than I expected. And again, if you're out there and you're listening to the show and you want to hear us talk about a film that you like, all you got to do is email us that film or send us a message to the socials, and we'll do it in a heartbeat. So yeah, this is only our second time doing that. So, we don't want to disappoint the fan.
Oh, we don't. It might take months to get to it, but we won't disappoint, at least.
Well, she wanted it to be on her birthday, and she sent me this in like October. So, took a while. But yeah, I'm glad we could do it. So, what is your history with this film? Because Cruel Intentions it's an odd duck.
I'm going to just put the warning out now. If I sound like a baseless man throughout this podcast, I apologize in advance. But straight up, as a child, I think I mentioned on the podcast before, my mom and a lot of my aunts and my cousins would watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the show, not the movie, not to be confused. And that is when I developed probably my biggest childhood crush, which was on Michelle Gellar, who played Buffy. And when I went to college, I had a college buddy of mine that I'm actually still in touch with. He works for Flickering Myth right now, actually. And he had told me, he had got me into actually watching Buffy myself. So I ended up watching the whole thing when it was on Netflix. I don't think it's on Netflix anymore. I think it's on a different streamer.
Hulu.
I think Hulu has it now. And he told me, he was like, hey man, if you have such a huge crush for so much Gellar and you haven't seen Cruel Intentions yet, you should watch that. And I was like, all right, why not? And I did, and wow, but also it ended up being not a movie that's really up my alley generally and what I watch. But I was and remember being impressed by it's actually not terrible. I'm actually kind of invested in this movie. And it's it's literally everything I don't usually like. It's, a romance with teens and they're all super snobby rich people and elements that I realize now I'm like, ooh, hasn't aged well since it came out in the 90s. But there's just something about it that that grips me. Even watching the second time, I'm kind of okay, I'm getting into this, and I see why it just had this legacy. I know it's had some sequels that had nothing to do with this first one, but nonetheless, and there's been very many different attempts to get a reboot show off the ground. I think so. I'm sure I was even attached as a producer to a proposed one or something like that. So there's been attempts made to keep this thing going. It has a strong following because of it. But yeah, that's my history. It's all based in a childhood crush and hearing about this movie, and so I'm sure Keller.
That actually makes a lot of sense, considering how well I know you and your near obsession with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Let's calm down. I'm not gonna track her down.
I remember the Scooby-Doo episode of Beyond the Bad. You were lusting.
It, yeah. Look. Yeah. I will not deny my childhood crushes, or my two current celebrity crushes. I won't deny that.
No, no, you won't. And
Oh,
today, particularly with this movie, it would be weird to try to be all celibate about it. So we're pretty much just gonna be, you know, guys here. I mean, come on, we're
yeah,
gonna be honest.
I'm gonna have to tell, for those who don't know a little bit about my personal life, I'm fresh into a relationship now, so I'm gonna have to tell my girlfriend not to listen to this episode.
And I'm perpetually single, so it doesn't fucking matter what I say. Uh, so I first saw parts of this movie in a hotel room in Ireland. I was on vacation. I was with my mom, and she was watching it on TV, and I was watching a Craig Ferguson stand-up special on my laptop. And I happened to my eyes drifted upward, and it was the scene where Sarah Michelle Gellar is showing Selma Blair how to make out. So immediately, I no longer cared what Craig Ferguson was talking about. I was very much like, "What is this?" Uh, so I didn't want I don't know why. I guess I was young. I was like, I don't want my mom to know that I'm also watching this. So I took one headphone out and I watched half half of my head was focused on Cruel Intentions, and the other half was still listening to Craig Ferguson. So it was very jumbled. I didn't have any context about what this movie was. I just know it looked hot.
Okay, fair enough. It's a
So
very hot
eventually,
scene.
hmm? Yeah, it's a very hot scene. Eventually, I was like, I just pulled out the Craig Ferguson earbud, but at that point, like the movie was pretty far gone, and I had no frame of reference, so I didn't know what was going on. So I saw the second half of the movie, not knowing who the hell these people were or what this was about, and that was it. So years later, we get the fan request, and I'm looking through her list, and I'm like, oh, Cruel Intentions. I remember seeing most of that. Let's do that. And now I watched it with context, and you know what? I'm not gonna say I was impressed, but I didn't hate it. Like I thought it was pretty good. Like it's a obnoxious, immoral '90s erotic thriller. Like what's wrong with that?
Yeah, and honestly, '90s, like if you want to go down the erotic thriller route, and obviously those ones that go way further, you got your Basic Instincts and um whatnot that exist. Even if you want to get weird with it, and the horror one with like things like Species, um,
I would have gone to single white female first, but okay.
single right female works too. Sure, Bound.
Before I start fucking aliens, I'd go into the human realm first, but
No, no, you got to make the leap, or it's now or never. Um, but '90s really did a good job honing in on that, and it's something that will never get revived. Will never get in rock throws, not in today's. And I look usually I actually get real tired of hearing like this. I don't want to watch this because this movie's too woke. Blah 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 blah. Like Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up. It's not the same movie landscape it used to be. Just get over it. But
and
with that said,
I will argue, I'm pretty sure all, if not like most, if not all of the sex in this movie is consensual.
yes, it is.
There you go.
Well,
So
yeah, most if not all. You could at most debate the time when he goes down on Summer Blair. That's probably the most debatable moment.
true, but she does let him do it. I mean, I don't, it's a little rapey, but it's not that. It's I expected way more rapey moments in this movie. I mean,
Yes,
yeah,
but point being is, in today's movie landscape, I don't see this type of film or even any of the more extreme erotic thrillers like your showgirls and shit ever coming back. Like not in today's movie climate, because for some reason we have a weird aversion to sex in movies, which kind of bugs me. Like, come on, stop being prude, guys. There's nothing wrong with it.
every couple decades we get progressive, and then something happens where we just immediately abandon that and go back to like no, dirty. So
Yeah,
I don't
oh,
know.
dude.
Yeah.
There's a whole section of people on phone Twitter being like, "Why do we need sex in movies?" I'm like, "Shut your fucking mouth! Like, stop it!"
If
like,
all parties are okay with it, who are we to say no? Like, who gives a
yeah.
fuck?
Look, Like, I'll say it. I'm sorry that you're a prude and you don't want to see boobs in film. I'm not. I do. I
I'm
want to see
sorry your
boobs in film.
parents told you to get in the closet and pray, but mine didn't. So fuck you.
Yeah. Fuck you. I like sex and nudity in film and TV as as long as I know that, hey, it's consensual. The intimacy coordinator was there. That's the term for the what they use, and everything was good to go. Hey, sweet, yeah, give me that scene. Let's go. Give me that scene. But
I think sex in movies saves lives. All right, fine. I'll explain.
elaborate.
No, I won't. Yes, okay. Um, I think that the more there's people out there who are remarkably sheltered, who are whether it be by religious reasons or social reasons or just mom's an asshole. Whatever your reasoning is, there are people out there who are not taught normally about anatomy, about sexuality, and I would argue that seeing things in films might at least prevent one or two of them from becoming full-blown serial killers. I have nothing to back that up. It just feels right.
It mainstream films. Let's quote that right now. Mainstream films can at least give you like insight into obviously that war, especially as you start becoming an adult and sex and stuff like that becomes part of your life. Um, is it still? I mean, would I say all films are great role models of that though? No, there's plenty of films where I'd be like,
Well,
she said no. Let's,
yeah,
but
I'm
yeah,
not thinking like The Devil's Rejects is going to be somebody's blueprint for a healthy sex
I
life.
I
No.
fucking hope not.
But some movies just to understand how certain things work, how to form relationships, stuff that you might not
Yeah,
learn in the real world due to a sheltered existence.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, because the other side of the film or the adult side of it, uh even if you're not sheltered, presents the most unrealistic form of sex you will ever witness. It may look hot on camera, but you're not holding that position for fucking 50 goddamn minutes.
A lot of the Letterboxd reviews for this film, which we're going to talk about towards the end here, a lot of them blame this movie for the like "Help me, stepbrother, I'm stuck" pornos. Like this is the beginning of that. It all the incest porn started here.
Oh my god damn it. Probably you could say that, but try to tell me that there probably isn't like a fucking Halloween porn parody where Michael and Lori fuck.
Well, depending on your canon, they're not related. So that's a tricky one.
Fair enough. Okay, you got me there. It sounds like
Uh,
a problematic one. A sleepaway camp porn parody. That sounds inherently problematic. And I'm a fan of sleepaway camp, but I'm just saying.
I think a sleepaway camp porn parody would be incredibly inclusive, and I support it. I'm an ally. I'm serious.
God damn it.
Oh boy, this is fun. Alrighty, I'm loving this. Great pick, Nicole. So, my question to you: we've never done this on the podcast before, but this feels like the right movie to do this. Uh, basically, so it's fuck, Mary, kill. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Reese Witherspoon, Selma Blair. You go first.
You just want to drop that on me like that?
Yes, I am. Welcome to the Cruel Intentions episode. We're not holding back this time.
Okay, I'm going to marry Sarah Michelle Gellar because that's a lifetime of fucking right there.
Okay.
That's happening. I want to fuck Reese Witherspoon. And you know what? Kill Summer Blair. Nothing against her. I just haven't been on that Summer Blair bandwagon like everyone else.
Okay, that was quick. This is going to be a fast question.
Yeah, this is what you cited. You didn't think deep or thought provoking. You just said, "Hey, let's go for this." This is on you. Do better next time.
I think this is great. I'm having a great time. Okay. So I I would fuck Sarah Michelle Gellar. I would kill Reese Witherspoon because I saw it like one time she got arrested for a DUI and pulled the whole "Do you know who I am?" bullshit. So right there, I'm like, okay, I don't like her. And I'd marry Selma Blair because she seems like a neat person. The actress, not her insufferable little shit character in this movie.
Oh yeah.
If we're talking characters in this movie, it's a wildly different layout. But yeah, so I think Reese Witherspoon's a good actress. I've heard some stuff about her being kind of a bitch.
Yeah, she may not necessarily be America's sweetheart like she's been propped up to be.
Most of the time, people who are propped up like that are very much not.
Yeah. That's why I say, like, hey, it's like I always say, when it comes to just fuck, I don't care about personality. In, out it, gone. In, out, gone. So she can be rude all she wants. I'm going to do what needs to be done and leave.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to double down.
Don't double down.
No, we're doubling down.
I hate you. That's my thing.
All right. Fuck, marry, kill. Ryan Phillippe, Ronald, and the gay dude.
It is 2023. Do you know how bad it sounds if either one of us say kill the gay dude? Two straight dudes.
I don't really like football, so I'm not marrying the guy.
I was like, I'm not killing him. I'm just saying I wanted to put that out there in case that's where your mind was going.
Here, I'll go first. I'll go. I got you. I'll give you more time to think about it because I feel like you need more time to think about it.
I do. You just don't, you bastard.
All right. Fuck the gay dude, marry Ronald, kill Ryan Phillippe. Easy. Easy. Anytime.
Shut up. I'm thinking. Same. Mary Ronald, kill Ryan Phillippe, and fuck the gay dude because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, there you go. I just don't care for Ryan Phillippe. I know it's not Felipe. Phillippe.
You know him and
Yeah,
Reese Witherspoon are married?
they were. Yeah. It's how she got this role. And we'll talk about that in a minute here.
Yeah. So based off what we've heard about, I wonder if he was like annoyed with her and was like, I'm done with this.
I can't imagine in that household. My God. The amount of smug.
What if Ryan Phillippe's actually a really nice dude? He's just really good at playing these types of roles.
He plays douchebags so well. I don't know, maybe. I know nothing about the guy personally. He just, in this movie and The Lincoln Lawyer, which is pretty much this exact character if he was a murderer, is so obnoxious and.
I mean, ugh. I've heard usually, guys are, actors in general that are really good at playing the villain tend to be very nice in real life.
Well, we'll find out if I ever meet him. Or if he's on like Celebrity Jeopardy or some shit.
Well, if he's having a bad day and you get him at a bad time.
That happens. That sucks. Okay, so here's where Cruel Intentions came from. This movie is a modern day reimagining of the 1782 French novel Les Liaisons Dangereuses by Pierre Chodolos de Laclos, known stateside as Dangerous Liaisons. You may have heard of that. The novel's most well-known adaptation was the 1988 film of the same name, starring Glenn Close, John Malkovich, and Michelle Pfeiffer. It's a similar story, just set in pre-revolution France. So somebody had the bright idea to take that, turn it into late 90s New York, make them teenagers. Voila.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I've never seen Dangerous Liaisons. I'd like to. Sounds like a pretty good movie.
I've heard about it. Like I've heard of the movie.
Yeah, me too. The 90s teen version was written and directed by Roger Kumble, who would go on to direct a lot of terrible comedies, such as Just Friends, The Sweetest Thing, College Road Trip, and Furry Vengeance. He wrote a few erotic thrillers. This is the one that stuck. So I guess, I don't know if he'd consider his career, a
Anything
success
after
or
Furry Vengeance, or was that like the end of the line?
uh after Furry Vengeance, there's a lot of TV.
Ah,
So you tell me. Um,
okay.
yeah. Reese Witherspoon was cast largely due to her being the real life girlfriend of Ryan Phillippe at the time. He and director Roger Kumble basically went out and got her super drunk and told her, like, you'd be so good at this. And she was like, I'll do it. So I don't know how legal that contract was, but you know what? She did a good job.
Turn around. Philip was like, "Babe, come on, just be in the movie."
There's a scene where she like slaps him, and that was totally ad libbed. She got two in the moment. And then when they yelled cut, he ran off to the side of the set and threw up. He was like, my character's such a bastard. Like, he was really like, I don't want to, like, I love you, Reese. It's hilarious. They got into character and like, I don't want to be bad like this.
You had me at hello, Reese.
It's different when you're, mentally, and like mentally abusing your actual girlfriend on set as I'm sure they were together for quite a while. They got married in 1999, the divorced in 2007. So it lasted a while.
Yeah, I in all fairness, I couldn't like imagine like having to do like something like with my girlfriend. I'd be like, I don't feel this way though.
Yeah. You got to basically fake a breakup. That's I bet that hurt. I wonder if they had to talk about this. Like they had to work through that shit.
She's just like, would you really do this to me? He's like, no, I wouldn't. God, I was acting. I swear.
Yeah. Meanwhile, off to the side, Freddie Prinze Jr. is just at the craft services, like, you're doing great, babe. Don't lose the dark hair. You look hot.
I got a movie. I think they want us both in it, just like I know you did last summer. Has a dog.
You may have heard of him. You know what? They're still together. So, in the end, Catherine won.
Yeah, they're still together. And she has I had followed her on Instagram. Based off their posts, they're very happy still. Like, apparently very happy. So good for them.
Well, I mean, to be fair, no one's posting their, my husband's a real asshole today. Like, no one's posting that.
I mean, Reese Witherspoon recently posted that she's divorcing her husband.
Oh.
So, yeah, they kind of are.
Well, shit. I think that's a little personal. Your good days, everyone wants to know about that. Your bad days, I don't know you personally. I don't care.
Look, man, I'll tell you this. My Instagram, I only follow half these celebrities because I think they're attractive and they post pictures. So that's it. That's all it is for me.
That's why anybody follows anybody on Instagram.
Yeah, that's all it is for me. And outside of that, I follow like certain accounts that I generally like to follow, like horror celebrities or companies and stuff that post stuff.
You follow Instagram for pics. You follow Twitter for thoughts. That's how it works. And yeah. I'm like the only person left on Facebook. So, so Sarah Michelle Gellar got to step out of her vampire slaying shoes for a bit and play a truly contemptible cunt. And she does a great job. I mean, she is sadistic in this movie. Like, seriously, just like a sociopath.
Yeah, no, she's good, especially if like you see her interview stuff. She seems like a nice. I haven't heard anything bad about her. Like I haven't heard anyone be like she's terrible to work with. Like,
yeah, I admired when she stood up after all the Joss Whedon shit came out, and she like told her side of it and said revealed how much of a piece of shit that guy was. Like, I bet she was part of the glue, kind of holding that set together.
Yeah, so like. She seems like a generally nice person. So to have her just say like, I'm going to play this part. And even then, like, even when she was doing stuff like I know you did last summer and things like that, like, she may have played an airhead like in that movie, but you still liked her character. Like that was like the thing. Like she always made a likable character. In
Yeah.
this movie, she like commits fully to being a despicable, just straight up, I won't say just a bitch throughout this movie, and she does great.
I already dropped the C bomb, dude. I think you can say bitch. It's fine.
No, no, no. Some of us are classier here.
Nah, not this time. Um, I wonder if a part of that is, Buffy had been on for I think what 2 years at this time.
Yeah, 97. This came out in 99, so this was
Yeah.
like also height of Buffy
Yeah.
at that point.
So she was known for playing, a pretty heroic, noble character. So I wonder if she was just like, I want to play a bad person. And this came along and she was like, yeah, this will do. So I wonder if there's some of that too. Because I know that like when actors play like heroic roles for a while, they want to step out of that and play a bad guy. And when they play bad guys for a while, they want to step out of that, be a hero. People, they want to mix it up.
Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. They're like, yeah, be a naughty girl, babe, do it, do it.
Just picturing like a PA being like, keep your hands where I can see him, Fred. Like just like hands up on the table at all times.
Fred, you're not in the movie, right? Yeah, but I'm supporting her. Oh, put your pants back on.
Now I'm just like every time an actor is doing a role, their like significant other is off to the side, just like eating sandwiches at craft services, just being like, You're doing great, way to go." Like I love picturing that.
That would
Like
100% be me. Like I would be that guy. It's like, whoo, doing great. But I'm
like
really
on the set of Edge of Tomorrow, Emily Blunt is like doing her thing with Tom Cruise. Krasinski's stuffing chips in his mouth, like, "Woo, good job."
I love that of like they get to scenes where they have to, like if their love interest, they have to kiss, and she's like, John, we're married. Are you sure you're okay with this? He's like, he just looks, he goes, that's Tom fucking Cruise. If you don't do it, I will.
That's a strong marriage right there. That's what that is. That's love. That's love.
Yeah.
I bet it even works the other way around. Every Tom Hanks movie, Rita Wilson's there, like, "You got this, Tom." This is great. I love this
America's
idea.
dad, Tom.
Yeah, I love this idea of Hollywood basically being like a little league game with the cheering parents on the side. That's nice to picture. Cruel Intentions has an IMDb score of 6.8, Rotten Tomatoes score of 54%. Critics didn't like it. User score of 80, so people did. Critics' consensus reads, "This darkly comic drama and its attractive young cast are easy on the eyes, but uneven performances and an uninspired script conspire to foil Cruel Intentions." And I'd like to remind everybody that this is based on at the time, 200-year-old novel. So
I also really like when critics come after Hollywood casting attractive people. And I'm like, yeah, that's been kind of like its thing since it started because we want to see attractive people on screen.
and they're supposed to be, yeah, they're all in their 20s. You can't cast actual teenagers or Roger Cumble's going to prison.
Yeah, you can't cast teenagers and have sex scenes. Not how it works.
No, God, no. But
and why wouldn't you? And why wouldn't you get someone like Sarah Michelle Gellar, who again, height of her Buffy fame, like that was a fucking big, that was a win for those guys. They went, holy shit, we got Buffy. People
this
were going to
was
see.
this was supposed to be low budget, like a low budget kind of, like Skinamax almost level thing. Then Sarah Michelle Gellar joined it, and they were like, "Oh, we got to give money to this thing. This could be a box office smash," and it kind of was.
Mm-hmm. Sure, it's like I don't know. I always find like when critics like they have to nitpick to the point of like, it's amazing how they cast all these attractive Hollywood people. Like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, if actors were fuck ugly, Hollywood would have lasted maybe 10 years. So yeah, beautiful people put asses in seats. We've all accepted that. Why can't you?
Time and time again, that is what's been proven.
And uneven performances, get the fuck out of here. The performances of this movie are pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a bunch of actors that are still working to this very day because they're good actors.
Yeah, one of them's an Oscar winner, so fuck you.
Yeah, Gellar, she made a big talked about return to TV with that. Granted, didn't get good reviews, but she's had a big, comeback with the TV front. and doing stuff there. I know Ryan Phillippe. I know he does his thing. It's just stuff I don't watch. I do
He
know he
does
does.
his thing. You just don't know what that thing is.
I don't know what it is. I know I see his name pop up and stuff like all the time. It's just things I don't watch.
He's got to be on some like ABC Tom Selleck show or something, right? Let's find out. Ryan, it's a
Did you just
PH.
describe Blue Bloods?
Doesn't it feel like if I told you Ryan Phillippe was on Blue Bloods, you'd believe me? Like there would be no way. You'd be like, oh, cool, good for him. He's not, but it
I'd be
sounds like
like,
he
did
could.
you replace? Did you replace Donnie Wahlberg?
Oh, he never did jump to TV. You know, he's been doing like direct to video action movies for like 20 years.
Oh well, good for him.
That's kind of sad. But you know what? Money talks.
You know what? He's still getting a paycheck. Fuck it.
Yeah, there you go. Look on the bright side. The film was a modest hit, grossing 75 million on a budget of only 10 million. It spawned two direct-to-video sequels, a canceled TV series, and an off-Broadway musical. It is now regarded as a cult classic. One of these sequels is a prequel, how Sebastian and Catherine met. I assume that they met when their parents got married, but I guess
Yeah, I was
not.
like, their parents got married.
I don't remember who plays Sebastian, but Catherine is played by a young Amy Adams.
I mean, just saying.
Amy Adams is just so like sweet. I can't picture her as like as this person.
That was also young Amy Adams, so it's when she was really having to like try. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't mean
younger,
that in a bad way, but
like the TV roles I saw her in, she was kind of a bitch. Like
yeah,
she had this Mean Girls quality to her.
I'm just saying. I don't mean that in a negative. I'm just saying you see it all the time. Young actors, they experiment a lot. They take a lot more risks because they're trying to get their name out there. So
Yeah, she played a fat girl in a Smallville episode who ate kryptonite and it made her thin, but it also turned her into like an absorbing monster that like ate everything in sight.
sounds like a weird episode, but okay.
It was a very weird episode. They had to pad that out for the first few seasons by introducing what they called meteor freaks. Because when Clark Kent landed on Earth, or I'm sorry, when Kal-El landed on Earth, he landed in a meteor shower full of kryptonite. So like Smallville had kryptonite all over it, and anybody who touched it had like weird things happen to them. Sometimes they became like an icicle villain. Sometimes they became a like absorbing villain. Sometimes they were just like they could read minds. They had to fill 22 odd episodes a season. So yeah, Superman doesn't have that
Oh
many
yeah,
good villains.
yeah. I'll say the glory days of the WB. I'm like now.
10 seasons that admittedly pretty shitty TV show lasted. But you know, it gave birth
Yeah.
to the Arrowverse. So
Did
thanks.
and honestly, Superman and Lois is a way better show than Smallville was. I'll say it
Well, he
right
wasn't
now.
allowed to be fucking Superman. They gave him the rules, like no tights, no flights. Those were the rules of Smallville. Like you couldn't be Superman, he couldn't fly. It's like, then why did you make this show?
Yeah, at
Same
least in
thing with
Superman and
Gotham.
Lois,
Like
he's
you're not allowed to show Batman. It's like, well, then why are we here?
yeah. I was about to say in Superman and Lois, he's fucking Superman. Like he's Superman. So it's
The
nice.
show's called Superman and Lois. They could have just called it Superman. I mean, no one's there for Lois.
I mean, I'm there for Lois because the actress is really hot, but whatever.
Whatever. Cruel Intentions 3 was a
Fuck me,
2004.
right? Go on.
I feel like we have one-sided conversations about Superman and Lois all the time because I don't watch it. I have nothing to add to that conversation.
I mean, apparently, last I heard, they're talking about moving it to Max.
HBO.
You know, not HBO Max.
No.
No, Max.
I'm not calling it Max. I refuse to give a streaming service a human name. I'm not doing that.
It's going to be called Max. You're going to have to re-download the app if you want to continue enjoying it too,
Seriously?
because it's called something like that. I just got the email telling me what we. I just got the email telling me what I have to do.
CBS All Access just morphed into Paramount Plus. I didn't have to do shit.
Well, look, as we've learned, Zaslav isn't a smart man who is determined that even in the power strike, Batgirl shouldn't exist.
I'm surprised he didn't just call the map like Zaz, or he didn't call the app Zaslev Plus or something like that. Or David. Hey, have you checked out that new show on David? No, no, I haven't.
All
Uh,
right.
but Cruel Intentions 3 was a completely unconnected movie, direct to video 2004, that was about two guys at a prep school making a wager on seducing chicks. And it was like, who can seduce the most popular girl in school? Whoever does that wins. And there's nobody of any real fame in this movie at all.
Fuck yeah. That is a sequel, baby. Cruel Intentions.
Some movies you wouldn't expect to be franchises, but like if you dig deep enough, you can find it. And that's always strange.
Yeah, there's sometimes when I'm watching something, I'll be like looking it up. Sometimes, usually, as I'm watching, I'm kind of bad. I'm a little bit bad about that. My phone at home, but I'm home. I can do what I want. Damn it. Um, not disturbing anyone in my house. Uh, um, I'll look it up and I'll be like, "There's sequels to this," and then you look and you're like, "Oh, they're not good sequels." Okay, sweet.
I feel like if you have to ask, if you find out like 20, 30 years after the movie's out, like, oh, there are sequels, they're not good sequels.
They're not. It's like when I watched American Psycho first time, I was like, "Oh, this was really good," and then years later, someone's like, "You know, they made a second one at Mila Kunis." I was like, "No, they fucking didn't." And I was like, "Oh my god, they did."
Yeah, what was that? Like All American Girl or something like that?
It's American Psycho 2, I think, like All American or some shit like that.
Yeah. Ugh. I mean,
Yeah.
we like film fans, we know all the good sequels. Like we may not have seen all of them, but we know the good sequels. We know what they
Yeah.
are.
If I'm bored, I'll seek these out. Sometimes be like, I just have to see what the fuck they even try to do with this. But that's like if I'm bored.
Well, that's I've recently opened myself up to pretty much watching every movie on the planet as like a lifelong goal. So I'm down to watch all these shitty sequels. I put Cruel Intentions 2 and 3 in my list. So I will be watching them if my lucky randomizer lands on it.
Like how you say lucky in that case. In that case, you're not luck is not on your side.
I've been pretty lucky so far. Like I have yet to get a serious piece of shit with this project.
I would
But
love
there, I have quite a lot. It's a minefield at this point.
I would love if you say that and the thing is just like listening is like, oh, you wait.
I'm basically at this point, I'm playing film Minesweeper, and I haven't lost yet. uh, with that, let's give this film some awards. We have the Quentin Tarantino Award for the best line of the film, the Thomas Newman Award for the best music moment, the Philip Seymour Hoffman Award for the best performance, and the John Carpenter Award for the best scene. Let's start with the best line. Take us away.
All right, so I'm not gonna lie. At first, I really wanted to devolve into my baseless male instincts with everything Sarah Michelle Gellar says about the damn bet, with the whole like, I'll give you something you've been obsessing over ever since our parents got married, and my favorite part, you can put it in anywhere.
My favorite part was when she just straight up says, "I'll fuck your brains out." Hearing Buffy say that,
Yeah,
that was good.
That was not when I was like, oh my god. I almost put all those, but actually, it's something she says towards the end when it gets like revealed that the bet was not about Annette. It was about Ryan Phillippe's character the whole time, and he's just kind of standing there, and she drinks from her champagne because she's rich, and that's how we know in movies you're rich. You drink champagne, um, or you're fancy. And she says, "Tastes good." So I assume you've come here to make arrangements, but unfortunately, I don't fuck losers. I gotta give Sarah Gellar credit on that line. Like that is some ice cold shit delivered very well by her.
I thought he was gonna kill her. Like I was expecting him to like whack her with the champagne bottle and then like blame it on Selma Blair.
I know, right? I was like, oh my god, because yeah, she in that moment just was like, oh no, you're not getting this. I just like to fuck with you.
What a monster. But I mean, he was, he's no saint. The objective of this bet was to, seduce an innocent girl and then fuck his stepsister. So like he's not a hero.
No, it's like you're trying to fuck your stepsister, and like, don't get me wrong, like it's so Michelle Gellar, yes, but like, dude, come on, like, it's okay.
Where the hell is everyone's parents?
It's they're rich Manhattan kids, man. Their parents are just never home.
I feel like this is something they should be made aware of. I mean, they may not be the best parents, clearly. Look how they turned out, but they should know how this is like what's going down here.
What that whoever's son is that parents is trying to fuck the other parent's daughter.
That is one of many things they should be made aware of. Someone needs to, yeah, my God. Um, I went with a line right before they decide to pretty much turn Selma Blair into a whore. And Sebastian has second thoughts. And it's the first glimmer of a real conscience we get from this guy. And he says, we've done some pretty fucked up shit in our time, but this, I mean, we're destroying an innocent girl. You do realize that. Like, he's like, has this momentary flicker of like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
And that, when he hooks up with Annette, that pretty much builds into a, Jiminy Cricket gets, defibbed back to life. And suddenly Sebastian has a conscience. But this is where the spark of life for Jiminy started pumping again.
Yeah. No, it's a good line. It finally kind of shows you, like you said, it gives you that kind of like the turning point for his character. It's like he's finally starting to be like, should we do this? Because like, I mean, yeah, some of those characters annoying and just insufferable, but like you said, she's innocent. Like, you really going to like do this? And it in a weird way, it kind of touches on like this film is almost somewhat ahead of its time in that one regard with female sexuality.
Mm.
And by doing that, and you can not just all of a sudden make it, and Summer Sugar talks about being like, why do girls get called whores when they want to be sex positive? Like, it's not even necessarily like she's gonna become like this slut and just ruin her life. It's you do this and then she likes it, like most people like sex, and she wants to have more of it, and then yeah, her reputation could get destroyed because now she's gonna get branded a fucking slut because guys can sleep around but girls can't. And something that was, I know, a very prevalent thought. I know when we were growing up, I can't speak on behalf of the young generation now. I am 30 years old. I have no idea what they're thinking. I
That
would hope,
generation's eating ass for fun. I think things have changed.
I think that, yeah, true. But hopefully things have changed, and I know, any future kids I have, not that I'm going to promote them just going out fucking people, Jesus, but like, stop. Look, I'm standing by it. Stop shaming girls for wanting to fuck like guys do. Like, Jesus Christ, it's okay if a girl wants to fuck.
I'm just picturing you sitting down like 17 or 18-year-old Caleb Jr. and being like, look, buddy, fuck whatever you want. It's your oyster. It's your world. Go nuts. You give him like a giant box of like a Costco box of condoms. And it's just like, have a great summer, buddy.
I should fuck with him and give him one box that's open and be like, this used to be for me, but I don't need them anymore.
By the way, guess who's getting a baby brother? Oh my God.
Yeah, that dick, son, do what you want with it. Just don't tell me.
This movie is God. This movie is a great like spectrum for how much you're supposed to hug your kids. If you don't hug them at all, you make Sebastians and Catherines. If you hug them too much, you make Ceciles. You hug them just enough, you get Annette. Like I think that's this is the spectrum of characters we've got.
Yeah.
Hug your kids when they've earned it.
Or else they're going to try to fuck their step sibling. You don't want that.
You never hug them, you get monsters. If you hug them too much, you get man children, and those are even creepier.
They are very creepy and annoying.
Okay. Best music moment. This has a pretty good late 90s soundtrack of just, ridiculous, super 90s music, but also a kind of creepy, weirdly like nursery rhyme-esque score.
Yeah, it's a very interesting score that runs throughout this. I don't know if this is just me being in, I guess Cloud9 being in a fresh relationship. I almost had like the lovemaking song. I was like, I was literally sitting going, Oh, that is really sweet. Look at them, just two people. I was like, snap out of it, snap the hell out of it. And I was like, don't write anything down until this movie's over, and then you write something down. And I'm glad I did that because what I actually ended up putting down, even though it was for its time that it came out, overplayed to shit. I put Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve, that plays at the end, mostly because one, yeah, it wasn't overplayed by even at this time. I think this wasn't even too long after it fucking came out. It was already overplayed. Um, but it's kind of satisfying hearing the song in the same scene where you finally see Sarah Michelle Gellar get her fucking comeuppance at the end, and you're like, thank God, finally, someone is getting what they fucking deserve in this movie.
I picked the exact same sequence. I love the use of Bittersweet Symphony. Uh, it's appropriate. It's bittersweet because Sebastian's dead, but Catherine gets hers. So, there's your bittersweet.
Yeah,
Um,
second time watching this, I forgot he dies, and then when it happened, I was like, oh shit, he dies.
it's such a stupid death, but we'll get to that. Um, yeah, I love this whole sequence. It's so satisfying, and it's Annette and Cecile that take her down, which is mwah, chef's kiss, just beautiful. I love when the headmaster like takes her crucifix and like opens it, and all the coke falls out, and he just shakes his head like, oh, just disappointment.
Oh, you didn't share it with me.
It is weird, like I guess because we went to such a small town school, we didn't have that 90210 high school experience where it was like reputation was the currency of the realm. I never experienced that. So to me, it's completely meaningless. But to some people, it is the end all be all. And it's like, how they're seen at school is their entire lives. And that's such a hollow existence.
Yeah, well, and especially those type of people in this kind of. I mean, these are all wealthy fucking kids coming from wealthy families. Well, yeah, even outside of school, like your looks is exactly what everyone goes by, both physical looks and just like your perception of wealth and all that stuff. You're talking about your class where you sit at, all that matters to them. Whereas we went to a small town with the high school had 300 total students, so we didn't care. I knew the chick in my grade that was regularly doing coke. Reputation didn't change because she was doing coke. Same reputation, because it's a small goddamn town. That wasn't going to ruin it.
Yeah. And somebody in my class showed me the crack pipe they brought to school, and my reaction wasn't, "Oh, you gross person." It was, "Why did you bring that to school, you idiot?"
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember when she was showing us like, "Hey, look at my coke," and she pulls it out the fucking bag and thinking like, "Why are you doing that in class right now, you
Hey,
idiot?"
check out my giant bag of coke.
Yeah,
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of.
yeah. I was like, all right.
That's amazing. Do you remember that time that like the controversy that the Bittersweet Symphony like had? You remember all that?
Oh, with the Stone song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do because I was reading a thing on Blaze discussing about how they almost actually had this song for the ending of Scream 2.
Oh.
Like it was, they were going to have it on the play where the movie ends. Obviously they got the song they use now, but they were going to have this song because it was actually coming out right when the song was getting ready to get released. So it was going to be good timing, and they liked the song, and the Stones thing happened. That's what fucked that up.
This song is just haunting Sarah Michelle Gellar. Then
Yes.
that's kind of funny. Was this ever in a Buffy episode? Probably not. They probably couldn't afford it.
Oh, probably not. Apparently, like once the thing happened with like that, they became very trepidatious about licensing the song for a while.
Yeah, I've heard the Stone song. I don't hear the similarities. Like it's a reach.
The Stones probably needed money. It was the 90s. They weren't exactly doing too great at that point.
They were the Rolling Stones. They haven't needed money since the mid '60s. Like they're doing fine. They could have just let this band walk away, but no, they destroyed them.
Look, Mick Jagger wanted his money, goddammit.
Keith Richards wanted his money. He leads that band. Mick just sings in Keith's band.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. He is supporting Keith's fucking balls of steel.
I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I say this a lot in life. I think Keith Richards died in the 80s, and they've been propping his ass up like a mummy ever since. Because if he goes, it all goes. Has he spoken publicly since like the 80s? I don't think he has.
I don't know. I've only
What does he have left to say? He's got nothing left to say.
he sings about it. Or he plays guitar about it. Sorry, plays guitar about it.
Uh, Best performance. Who wins the movie?
Oh, without a doubt, I had this. This was the only thing I wrote down like as soon as the movie started, and this is 100% my fucking crush happening right now. So I'm sure Gellar. For me, honestly, everyone in this movie is doing a really good job. But and look, crush aside, it's kind of what we talked about earlier with her. It's taking into account that this was probably, I would say, when the second, third season of Buffy was airing. I would say season 3 more likely.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So she's known for this type of role. Like I said, she had done like I Know What You Did Last Summer. I can't remember if Scream 2 came out before or after this.
Before.
Before. So she had kind of like this type of role down. People knew her for this. And then she does this, and to me, does a really good job. Like she really commits to this, and it's a complete 180 from what we, especially at that time, people expect out of her. And she absolutely crushes it.
I agree. I also picked Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's our bad guy. She's the fucking Cruella de Vil of this movie. Just this irredeemable, horrible human being who lives to shatter and destroy anyone she deems worth destroying, which is anyone who even remotely threatens her like prosperity at this school. And she's such a horrible person. And the performance is great. You never question it for a second. I don't see Buffy at any point in this movie.
No.
Which was, probably really tough to do because I'm sure a lot of people went to see this because they were Buffy fans and they're like, "Oh, she's not slaying vampires, she's slaying hearts." Uh, but yeah, she's fantastic. Runner-up's probably Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Although
I'd
she's
actually give,
good.
I was about to say, I would give someone better props for her role. It's an annoying role. Like she's fucking annoying, but she commits to this like just ridiculous part in this movie.
She's like an 18-year-old with the mind of a 11-year-old, and that's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't know. I did get a good laugh when like she's like talking to Sebastian at the beginning and like opens her legs up so you can see her under, and he's just his comment cracked me up so much. How's it going down there? You just see his eyes openly start to wonder.
Oh boy. Um, yeah, it's a good performance. It's just the character's so creepy. Ugh. I did think how I found it funny that Reese Witherspoon's character in that writes this whole manifesto about how awesome it is to be a virgin, and I gotta say she gives up pretty damn fast to the guy who is known for fucking around.
Yeah,
Like
all because
she falls for that shit fast.
yeah, and all because they love each other. Which not saying anything bad against. It's just is kind of funny in context of the movie.
I don't know if I'm a cynic or maybe it's just because I haven't found my love yet, but I don't believe it when true love happens in less than a week. I just don't buy it ever in any movie.
I mean,
Like it's a gradual process. You don't die for somebody when you've known them a week.
yeah, yeah, it's tough. It's kind of like that thing, some people that like it's just so weird because you have people that like they don't know for months and months and months until like they love someone, but then you get those people that like truly fall in love at first sight with someone and they're like married for fucking ever. Like it's weird how the human. It's just weird how all that shit works.
Love doesn't make a lick of sense. It's the weirdest part of the human existence because we don't get to choose it. It chooses us, which is so strange. But there's people out there who hate the person they love. but they can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a feeling that it's one of those things where like everyone's like, you don't understand until you experience it. And like, yeah, I can say now, like, yeah, I don't understand till it's just like it hits you and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a movie about love. This is a movie about lust, about sick, twisted, incestual lust. That's what this
I like
movie's
how we
about.
went down a really nice route and you just went
Yeah.
right back to lust.
We were getting too Princess Bridey. We had to pull this back.
Not that like this movie has an entire scene of Reese Witherspoon and Ryan Phillippe make love clearly in the movie.
No,
You
I
think
don't
they
buy it.
relate their personal life into that scene? You think they were like, you think one of them asked if it could be unsimulated?
I think they filmed that at home and then gave it to the director and said, "Trust us, use it."
Where she's like, I don't know, and then he watched and went, oh my god, it's like in Zack and Mary when they're like, they finally do the porn scene, and there's that big thing about like they just made love. That was what it was for the director. He went, this is going into the movie. This is art.
The best scene, the John Carpenter Award. What is the best scene of the movie?
Oh, this was my second quickest thing to pick, and that is absolutely the kissing scene between Michelle Gellar and Selma Blair. I don't care. This makes me sound that is a hot fucking scene. God damn. Like, even though this is like a game that like SMG's character is playing, like, like I'm not gonna keep saying her full thing.
You can just say Catherine.
I honestly keep forgetting her name's Catherine. I just keep mind blanking. But even though it's like a long game she's playing, like, yeah, you get why this is so considered, like, it's always put on like the list of like the top 5 usually of like hottest kissing scenes in films. And usually when I see that list, I'm like, not that hot, that's stupid. The Spider-Man scene, not that great because it's just, and realistically, you got water just fucking pouring into your goddamn nose, which would be annoying. But this scene, yeah, like this is one where I'm like, yep, absolutely. This is a hot scene. It's been parodied to death now, I think, by I think the Wayans and one of I forget which parody movie did it. I know there's one of them had a parody on it. But yeah, this scene is, yeah, it's just a hot scene. That's all I can. I got nothing besides it's, yeah.
Yeah, seeing Selma Blair make out with Submachine Gun is fantastic. I went with something else. I had one moment written down because I was like, that was funny as hell. It's right after Sebastian like bangs Cecile, and she like jumps up and is like says something like, "You want to go again" or something, and he just like pushes her so hard she flies off the fucking bed. We're just like, no. Like, it was so, and she doesn't, like, she gets back up like, but he's very much like, get the fuck out of here. It was really funny. I wasn't expecting
Yeah.
her to fly off the bed.
I forgot about that scene. And when I was watching this time, like, and she flies off, I did laugh. I was like, Jesus, because I didn't realize how hard he pushed her.
But I didn't go with that. I went with Sebastian's death scene because it is so melodramatic and avoidable. Um, so Catherine convinces Ronald, the cello teacher who's just sleeping with everybody, that Sebastian beat her and took off. And Ronald, being the macho noble knight in shining armor, goes over to Central Park to confront Sebastian. I don't know how the hell he knew he was going to be there, but hey, New York's a small place. And
It's not that big.
yeah, it's only like 6, 7 people.
Yeah.
Everyone knows everyone. Small town charm right there. Small town charm. So they start fighting. Annette also happens to be walking by because, small town. And she runs over, is like, stop it. Not once does Sebastian say, what? I didn't hit her. He's he pretty much like leads Ronald to believe that, yeah, he did. Like he does not defend himself at all. It's actually kind of funny. He's like, oh shit, she got to you too. Like that sounds like, yeah, I did it. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. Yeah, I love in movies. No one ever just asks point blank what the fuck it is you're talking about. It's always like clearly like written to be misconstrued.
Every film's conflict, I believe, can be solved by just simple communication. Every
It could
film ever made.
it could be absolutely.
Yeah. I did not hit her. I did not. It's bullshit. Oh, hi, Ronald. Anyway, I couldn't resist. So they start fighting like right next to the street. Annette gets involved. Ronald just like pushes Annette away into fucking traffic. This cab, which I guess is just staring out the passenger window, looking at Central Park West, not looking at anything in front of him.
Central Park West is a beautiful place.
Just maintaining like 50, which is impossible in New York. It's bumper to bumper traffic 24/7. You can't crest above 5 miles an hour, and almost hits her. Sebastian pushes her out of the way. He takes the cab to the face, flies over the car, manages to squeak out, "I love you, Annette," and then dies in the street. I don't know what happened to Ronald. He's not in the rest of the movie.
It's honestly a ridiculous scene, and like watching him, like I think I forgot that something like, oh, he'll be fine. You don't have to die from that. Like I've seen plenty of films where they get hit a lot worse, and they just keep on trucking. Insert Fast and Furious sequel here. But this, like, man, those apparently New York cab drivers, if you get hit by one, you're fucked. You're dead.
Well, I mean, Sebastian is a spindly, thin, like toady of a man who has no muscle tone. So I can understand him. He probably gets hit with a golf cart. He doesn't walk away. But so a cab, that's gonna fuck him up.
He's not. He's not built like Johnny Knoxville. He can just walk away.
Yeah. How many cars to the face has that guy taken for like in real life? You can't take a fake car.
Knoxville's taking bulls in real life.
Yeah, it's a
rocket
almost shot up his ass.
He took a bull at the age of 50. I just want to throw this out there.
I love how many of our episodes just somehow always manage to go back to Jackass.
It's because I will never let it die, especially as I am following very closely the news of Bam Margera, as I am slowly expecting that to go very bad by the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and I think you do.
I do. But anyway, things went bad for Sebastian. He dies, and quite a good turnout at the funeral. And Catherine gives the address, and then we all know what happens after that. But the death scene, it's like right out of a soap opera. I almost expect like the real Sebastian to come running from the side, be like, "That's an imposter."
No. He would have, like, if it was a real soap opera, he would have come out when being the one to be like, "I never actually died, Catherine." At like the wake,
Yeah,
getting her reputation. Yeah, he would have popped out then.
He comes out of the bathroom, winks at Catherine, and then disappears.
I'm about to say, yeah, even better. He does that, and then the next scene is him in the car with Annette just driving away.
Even better, he was driving the cab. I don't know. I can't explain the logistics of it, but that would have been hysterical.
This isn't even so far. This is just Fast and Furious now.
Pretty much. I mean, has anyone stayed dead in that franchise?
No. And apparently, they really do. Okay, so real quick, it's only on my mind because I have a ticket for Saturday to go see this movie. Because yes, I'm unashamedly going to go see the Fast and Furious. They released in the week before it comes out a 4.5-minute final trailer. Are they just trying to say like there are no surprises in this movie? We want you to know everything before you go in.
I didn't watch that trailer.
I didn't watch it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. You already did the trailer where you showed me fucking John Cena and Jason Statham after you made a point to not talk about them in the cast. And then you went, oh yeah, they're in the movie. Here you go.
They're on the fucking poster too.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah. And they also revealed Brie Larson's fucking character. I didn't realize what I was reading until they went, "Oh yeah, so this is who she's playing." I was like, "Fuck! Why would you say that if you're trying to keep it secret?"
You see, Vin announced like we're actually doing 2 more movies.
Yeah. Well, he coyly said the studio asked if they could do 2 more. So it's like
My ass. No, I
I
he,
think I
he
think
begged.
yeah, I think the studio is done with this franchise, at least with him attached to it. I think they're done, and they probably just want the one more that was already talked about. And he's like, "Come on, let me do two." And now he's probably pulling what they did with like Star Trek 4, when they were like, "Yeah, we're doing Star Trek 4, and we got the cast attached." And they're like, "The fuck you don't." Um, and he's probably trying to do the same thing. Like, "Yeah, the studio wants three, and I'm sure they 3 movies instead." And they probably went there and go, "We didn't say no. Okay, no, no, he's not pulling a rock on us, guys. No, one movie, and that's it."
I bet Vin is at Universal right now, being like, "Please don't make me be Riddick again. I can't stand the contact lenses. I need this."
Yeah, that's what it reeks of. Like, give me what I actually want, you piece of shit,
I keep waiting
gorilla
any
looking
day
man.
now. I keep waiting any day now for a like mock-up poster of Black Adam 2 with The Rock just being like, June 2025, let's go. Just with nothing to back that up. But
What is with these two? I have Vin Diesel. He just won't do fucking Riddick 4, even though literally that's actually probably a more wanted thing in the Fast and Furious by actual fans. I know I'm not the only one that's like, yeah, just do another Riddick. Like, we like 2 out of the 3 films anyway. 3, if you count the animated short they did between the first and second movie, was actually really, really good. And then you got The Rock, who's adamant that Black Adam 2 is going to happen. I don't get these two guys.
they've never been told no, and now they have, and they don't know what to do. It's fractured them. So like mentally, they can't cope. It's a blow to the ego they weren't expecting. So now they're losing their mind.
Yeah, I'm sure Universal was like, "No, you do one more Fast Furious and then do that damn Riddick film we told you could do, and we can make money off of." And
You get one, Vin. You get one, and you get nothing, Dwayne.
I just saw the really walking scene. You get nothing. You lose.
Good day, sir. Oh my God. I wish I was an executive so I could say that all the time. I would turn down so many pitches just so I could say that.
Right? I just quote movie lines all day to them just to confuse them, and also for them to leave me alone.
My favorite one to do would be Caddyshack. You'll get nothing and like it.
I would do the John Wick thing with Winston. You owe me, I owe you nothing.
This will be fun. All right. Now we got to start building up our, clout so we can get these jobs and do this. This is all I want to do. I want to be in a position of power where I can shoot people's dreams down with movie quotes. So with that, let's see what Letterboxd is saying about Cruel Intentions on our next segment. What's in the box?
What's in the fucking box? Give me the gun.
So Cruel Intentions is rocking a 3.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and the headline picture is the makeout scene. So everyone's on the same page with this one.
Great scene, okay? And it's purely for the reason you think it's great.
I personally rated this 3.5 out of 5 stars. Pretty good.
Same. I would do the same, 3.5 out of 5.
I have 5 reviews here that all 5 fucking made me cackle. So I think you're gonna like these. First up, this is from Lalo McFlowflow. Going to high school in the 90s must have been really tough with everyone being 25 and on coke. 3 stars. Yeah, like compared to this and like American Pie and Beverly Hills 90210, like if you were a child in the 90s, you had a very out of proportion idea of what a teenager was.
Right. Apparently he was be a teenager in California.
Yeah, it was just everyone was fucking, everyone was on drugs, and it was the most important time of their lives.
Every single time.
Yeah. Every day mattered. Just thinking of like Dawson's Creek, where it's like, every decision matters, man. Like, I fucking hate that kind of show. High school drama shows are the worst.
No, yeah, they are. Yeah, that is one thing. It's like, no, I'm good. I'm glad that is not really a thing anymore.
And they always lasted like 9, 10, 11 seasons.
Yeah, they stayed in high school way too long. They got to the point where like they had seasons dedicated around their summer vacation just to make this thing like last.
Sometimes they would just go to college. Like this damn show would follow them to college.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, now it's not really about high school. Now we're just going to see them grow up and experience life.
At least Buffy had, nightmare monsters and real teenagers. That was a big one. This next one's from Dorsey. They don't make garbage this delicious anymore. 3.5 stars. It's true. 90s garbage was tasty.
Hey, look, I'm telling you, Rock Thriller is even ones like this, like they're not even made. I would say they're not made like they're used to. They're just not made anymore.
They don't. There's a whole, like, I talked about this on an episode with Mysia a while back, but there's a whole vibe of the 90s that vanished. Like, not even in 2000, but in like 2005. Like, it's just, I can't explain what it is, but we all recognize it. I miss that.
Yeah. How much of it do you think is a vibe or just our nostalgia of our age?
Well, I don't know, because I've seen it in movies that like I've never seen when I was a kid, like Cruel Intentions, for instance. I didn't see this when I was a kid.
Okay, fair enough on that one.
Yeah, but it still has that vibe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'd love to explore that. I don't know what kind of research I would do or like how to quantify that, but I'd love to do it.
I'm sure we were. I've noticed more and more that like the 90s is finally starting to get kind of like looked at as a decade, kind of like how the 70s and 80s have been. Like, I guess it's just been long enough now that now we're like, we should probably reevaluate the 90s. So yeah. I'm sure there'll be plenty of talk in the years to come about all that stuff. And then 2000s won't be far behind that by the time we're fucking old and graying. I know, right? I know. But like, because like, for example, there's a lot of films getting reclaimed from the 90s. The horror wise, the In Search of Darkness guys, now that they wrapped up their 80s saga, guess what decade they're looking at next? The 90s. Yep, because they apparently, someone said, well, what about 70s? So like, we've discussed the 70s, but the problem with that is that because that decade is getting so far removed, a lot of people who were big then aren't around anymore. Just fact of the matter is there are still a good amount, obviously, but options are getting limited. And I mean, that's just realistically what's happening there. Mm-hmm. Whereas 90s, you still got a lot of people from that period around to talk about those films. So yeah, 90s is starting to get its due, man. Starting to get its time in the sun.
That's sad. I still think of the 90s as like 10 years ago.
I know. I was about to say the flip of that coin there. The other side is that it just also shows that we're getting older, because that's why it's happening.
Yeah, that blows. Well, I'd love to be on the forefront of that 90s like rediscovering thing. I'd love to be a part of that.
Yeah.
This next one's from Zara. This Scooby-Doo backstory for Daphne was a lot more intense than I would have thought. 4 stars. Before she solved mysteries with the Scooby Gang, she was destroying lives in the Upper West Side.
With the coke habit.
That's why after Catherine got, eviscerated by her peers, she moved to Coolsville and changed her name to Daphne Blake.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense, actually. Right. I mean, technically, if you go by the original script for the supposed original script for Scooby-Doo, it was rated R, so that's what James Gunn said.
I doubt if Gunn intended to make it a Cruel Intentions sequel, but I would applaud him if he did.
I doubt it too. But good on him if he did do that.
At the end of Scooby Doo, like the bad guy takes off his mask and it's fucking Ryan Phillippe. It's like, damn it, Catherine. Would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids.
What a twist.
Right? This next one's from Jillian. I wonder if Ryan and Reese's kids have seen this. 3 stars.
If they did, they got to the scene, the sex scene, and went, nope, don't need to see that.
I wonder how that works. Like, people who, actors watch their work with their families. Like, does everyone just close their eyes, or like, what do you do in that situation?
I don't know. So I mean, obviously, mom and dad got to work. Like, they got to pay the bills. Not all films they do are for kids. So, yeah, what do you do when you're like, I don't, obviously, if you're the kid, it's like, you want to support your parents, but you don't want to see your mom, get rolled out in a movie. So you're like, oh, God.
Maybe the family watches Just Like Heaven and not Cruel Intentions.
Probably.
Reese is a ghost and therefore cannot get railed. So that's the one I would go with if I were mom and dad.
It's funny because people say, man, what about like the porn stars that have kids? I'm like, I feel like that's actually easier because like it's not like there's premieres for porn or stuff like that, or like you just get on Netflix and it's there. Like,
well, yeah, but once the kids start, once puberty rolls around and they're like searching the sites,
that's a little different. And it's not like a movie that's tasteful and artsy about it. They're seeing full penetration, which is something they don't want to see. They're seeing their moms, the thing they came out of, just boom.
I feel like the porn stars have to have a sit down and explain their career to their teenage. That's fucked up. Like I don't see how, like, that's a tough conversation.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Well, okay, moving on. There's no way out of that one. There's no good way out of that.
No good segue.
But it is, what? Kind of relevant to this next one.
Oh, God.
The Last Colton describes this movie pretty well in one sentence. One teenage sociopath's unrelenting quest to fuck his stepsister in the butt leads to an existential realization by way of taxi collision. 2 stars. That's Cruel Intentions in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's what? He really got to the essence of the story. I'm proud of him.
One man's noble quest to just completely brutally nail his stepsister. That's the goal of this movie. We may forget that from time to time, but that's what started all this.
God, the porno version of this movie must be really weird.
I feel like the porno version of this is in my I think in my review, I said that this feels like the non-sex parts of porno. Like, this movie's all the setup.
Just not the actual scenes you want to see.
Yeah, it feels like that at times. Which, yeah, kind of funny.
Okay, fair enough.
Any last thoughts on Cruel Intentions?
No, I think I've exhausted everything I have to say and about this, and look. Did I watch this for very baseless reasons? Yeah, I did my first time. With that said, did it end up being a surprisingly like decent enough, fun little film to watch? Yeah, I had a good time with it. I'm not complaining. I'm not like, man, I really just sat through that just for like Sermon Stroke Gellar and that was it. And I was like, oh, okay, it's a good little movie I watched. I enjoyed it. So yeah, if check it out, give it a shot. You might like it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a pretty good movie. Just don't watch it with your parents.
No. Especially if they're Buffy fans, they will. You don't want to watch it then.
And you know what? Just to be safe, maybe don't watch it with your brother or sister either.
Yeah, if you have even an inkling that your step sibling might have feelings, don't watch it around them.
Well, with that little nugget of advice, thanks for listening, everybody. If you like the show, feel free to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Filmgazm Productions. If you want to suggest films for us to check out, you can email us at filmgazm@gmail.com or always send us a message through the socials. Check out our Letterboxd accounts for daily reviews. You can search for me at Connor95, and in my friends list, you can find the rest of the team. Check out our website, filmgazm.com, where I have a link to that Letterboxd if you want to read the reviews. And you can also find articles, trailers of upcoming films, and every episode of our show. If you'd like to become a monthly donor to Filmgazm Productions, feel free to click on the link in the episode description. From there, click on Support This Podcast. You can choose to donate $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month. All donations go right back into the show, and we very much appreciate it. Thanks to the entire Filmgazm team for their constant friendship and contributions to the show. Thanks to Cooley Cal for our awesome theme music, and thanks to you for checking out the show. Remember not to fuck your step-sibling. Incest by marriage is still incest. And try not to manipulate any emotionally vulnerable women into sleeping with you for reputation points. Take it easy, keep watching movies, and we'll see you next week. And once again, happy birthday, Nicole. Thank you.